Texas Tech heads to Kansas. They go to Lawrence. And Kansas, a 4-point favorite, total of 62 on this. It's 11 a.m. Central Time, God's time zone, on FS1. And we look at the numbers. Full season numbers, I've got Kansas favored by 3.81. Power rating has Texas Tech actually favored by 1 point. But yeah, the spread here, Kansas by 4. When I published the spread, Kansas was, or when I published the sheet, Kansas was a 3.5-point favorite. You look at the PPA margin, Kansas number 24, Texas Tech number 70. This Kansas defense is just not good at all, and yet the offense is good enough to make up for it. Right, number 4 in PPA per pass on the season, number 26 in predicted points added per rush. Texas Tech, number 50 against the run, number 55 against the pass. But you start looking at some of the other metrics, and I mean, it ain't good, right? We'll just say that. They're number 55 PPA per drive allowed on defense. Kansas, though, is number 105. I mean, it's just brutal. Absolutely. Look at all that red. If you're watching on YouTube, yes, that's a lot of red. Kansas can't stop the run. Texas Tech loves to run the ball. Yes, that's what we're looking at. Now, the 5 factors, Kansas, a heavy favorite as far as the 5 factors. But let's swap it over. Let's pull up the full screen. And over the past 4 weeks, this is where it gets weird, trying to bet on or against Texas Tech. Looks like Morton, the quarterback, is back. So these numbers might be a little screwy. Doesn't help the defensive numbers, obviously. The defensive numbers, number 108, predicted points added allowed per drive over the past 4 weeks. Kansas, their defense has actually improved a little bit, and that even includes playing, Oklahoma, etc., right? So you start to break this stuff down. On defense, Kansas actually pretty good against the pass. Texas Tech has not been running the ball nearly as much. Only 46% over the last 4 weeks. But, man, Kansas is so bad at stopping the run. I would imagine that Texas Tech is going to, at some point, try and run the ball on this Kansas State, this Kansas defensive line. Mike Mack jumped in. He said, Kansas is short some talent on that side of the ball, but they're trending in a good direction. And he said Texas Tech is so up and down, I don't know what to think of them this season. And Derek jumped in. He said Texas Tech seems sneaky good in this spot. So that's the situation, right? Kansas is actually competing for potentially a Big 12 title berth. They would own the tiebreaker over Oklahoma. They don't own the tiebreaker over Oklahoma State, but if you can get Oklahoma State beat twice, then okay. And, the Cowboys are only a, 3-point favorite, I think, right now at UCF. So it's not out of the question. But regardless, explosiveness certainly favors Kansas here. But Texas Tech is still pretty explosive. Over the past 4 weeks, Kansas number 1 in that explosiveness. Texas Tech is number 25. I know that this number says 8, but Texas Tech having their quarterback back, I think, is a big deal. So I'm gonna take Texas Tech as the dog here. And look at me starting off with 4 out of 5 underdogs to start off with here. But yeah, that's what I'm going to roll with, is the Red Raiders plus the 4. I think this ends up being about a field goal game. I know Kansas has, some motivation and whatnot, but Texas Tech, even on the road, I think they're going to be fine here because I think they'll be able to score on that Kansas defense. It's going to be interesting. Like, this feels like one of the most coin flip kind of bets against the spread that you could possibly make. So I think Kansas wins. I think 4 points might be too much, which is absolutely wild to say, but I think it's a field goal game. So we will move ahead. Let me first, if you haven't already, like the video, do me that favor, and of course subscribe if you have not subscribed. Make sure and check out the BetUS College Football show Tuesdays and Wednesdays. You can go back and see the ones that we've already done. You guys know what's up. That's Mike Mack said, "Wow, Tech, huh?" Look, I just think it's going to be a tight ball game. That's what I think. Texas Tech coming back with the quarterback. I think this is a pretty decent team. So that's the way that I'm going to lean here.
Thanks for listening to Winning Cures Everything.
Make sure and follow me on Twitter at GaryWCE. If you want to toss in a question, you can email me, Gary@winningcureseverything.com. Make sure and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.